Our opening words are A Place of Belonging and Caring by Kimberly Ann Tomzak Carlson. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship. Our chalice lighting words are by Viola Abbott, Work and Commitment and Love. As we light the chalice this morning, may it serve to give us clarity of purpose and illumine our way as we set about doing the work of this congregation in commitment, in cooperation, and in love. Good morning, and welcome to this place of fellowship and peace. We are so glad you are here. I am Paula Dvorak. I'm a member of the worship committee, and I'm your worship assistant for today. Worship associate, I guess. Our guest minister this morning is Reverend Karen Madrone. This is her second Sunday as our guest minister. Karen lives in the Uptown neighborhood with her wife, Michelle, and her dog and snake. She is currently in the Spiritual Director Formation Program at Meadville Lombard. Thanks and appreciation for our music performed by Jamie Passman. Thank you, Jamie. Our technical crew, Alex Dvorak and Jean Schaefer. And our hospitality team, I believe that it's number 6 this Sunday. And our hospitality teams are something that everyone is a part of. So if you don't know who your hospitality team is, you should probably reach out and find out. You can talk to Pam Fodor if you have any questions about that. Who's the hospitality? Is it 6 this week?
I'm not sure what number it is. It's Megan Griffin's.
Oh, Megan Griffin's team is our hospitality team for today. And thank you to Pam Fodor, our Director of Programs. She is leading this morning's Time for All Ages. I believe her and Reverend Karen are doing something together, which there was a little secretive talking going on, so I'm a little curious about that. After which Pam will lead our young over to the RE building for classes. You should know that we offer nursery care for our little ones in our RE building across the alley, down the stairs, and to your left. You can take them down there at any time during the service if the needs arise. However, younger children and babies are also welcome in the sanctuary as well. And please don't feel, even if they're being a little disruptive, that we don't enjoy having them here, because we enjoy that. We welcome visitors. Know we so appreciate your presence. Please complete a name tag that is available to you at the back of the church. Also, be sure to take any printed items that discuss our church or Unitarian Universalism. There's also a guest book to sign in the back, and you can sign up to get a copy of our news and notes. It just goes out once a week, so it's not a ton of email, but it lets you know what's going on at our church. As a very active and loving congregation, you should know that multiple activities serving members of all ages and interests are on the docket for this upcoming week. Immediately following the service, we offer coffee and tea hour, during which you're encouraged to share your thoughts and ideas with one another. And certainly introduce yourself to those who may be with us for the first time, or to others with whom you might be unfamiliar. And if you're a guest, you can grab a green guest mug if you wish. Don't feel like you have to if you're more of an introvert, maybe. Our weekly news and notes that's delivered to your email boxes carries all the other events occurring throughout the week. And again, if you fill out the guest book in the back, you will get that delivered to you if you're a guest. Our opening hymn is hymn number 1024 in the teal hymnal, When the Spirit Says Do. Sorry, please stand if you are able.
1, 2, 3.
You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. Spirit says do. Spirit says do. Spirit says do. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you got to dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 Spirit says
So, if you are young or young at heart, come on up for our story. I see Lucas.
Luca.
Oh, Luca, sorry.
Hi, Luca.
I missed you. Today. Oh, all right. We are ready.
Okay, so today Pam and I are going to share a story. So we're going to have the microphone back and forth so everybody can hear us. But this is an adapted story that we're sharing with you here today.
And I'm really excited about this story. Okay, so we're going to tell a story about a girl who was searching for a porpoise. Well, what's a porpoise? Good question. Mira thought about the things that she valued and cared about. Things like animals and the habitats they live in. She thought about the things she liked to do, things she liked learning about and teaching those things to younger children. She thought about her heroes, people who were living their lives in ways that she wanted to copy. And she thought about what was possible and the ways that she could change the world. And eventually, after some time and some work, she finally found her purpose. And the funny thing is that Amira's purpose is straight too far from purposes. She decided that her purpose was to be a caring advocate for the earth and teach others about conservation. And that's just what she did. Thank you all. Any thoughts about purpose? Anything? Well, that's a very hard question to answer. Oh, the animal of porpoise? Oh. You didn't? Okay, well, porpoise is like a dolphin. It lives in the sea or an ocean, and it's not like a fish. It's more like a mammal that lives on land, so it has to come up to the surface to breathe air. It is like a dolphin. Would you like to hold it on the way over? Thank you so much. All right. So James can help us sing out everybody to their places.
Let's take a moment to get grounded in our space as we also think about the joy that we just experienced with the children in the sanctuary today. Feel yourself grounded with the floor. Imagine your feet going all the way down to the earth, the dirt that's right here, that's underneath us and all around us. Feel yourself getting comfortable in your chair, maybe shaking out your arms and your shoulders, noticing where you're tense. Maybe you're holding yourself kind of tense in your neck. Notice that. Pay attention to where you're feeling constricted, and try to breathe into that. Just breathe in and let that tightness go. Let's just take a moment to breathe in together. And out. Our meditation words today are from Reverend J. Abernathy. He writes, "Let us join in a moment dedicated to that quiet power within us. It is within that we find the will to face the world. It is within that we find the love to embrace the world. It is within that we find our personal identity and know the world. Yet within us is also a great void. We feel this void at times of great loneliness, frustration, and despair. Sorrow, hatred, and greed, too, are within us. Just as we need to be alone at times to put things right, so do we need to be with others, to love and be loved. This great social urge also is within us as powerfully as that separateness, that uniqueness that gives us identity. Let us look within ourselves with honesty and trust. We shall find there a personal center important to who we are. We shall find there something held in common with those about us, family, friends, neighbors, and an ever-widening circle until we find that which we have in common with all people, something irreducibly human, something completely natural. This is the center of all humans, all love, all concern for others, and it is the center of all personal growth. May these few moments be a personal time for you, a time for that person within you who feels one with humanity, with nature, and with all the universe that was, is, and shall be. Let us hold another moment of silence together. Let it be so.
If you have something either weighing or dancing on your heart, please come up now to light a candle and share your concerns and joys. We are live on YouTube, so please, we ask that you don't mention last names of individuals, just their first names, please. Is there not much left?
Let me get the other.
There we go. I'll light one for you. There we go.
See if I can stand here. Sorry, but I think I'm going to have to read this. I'm Carol, and yesterday I learned that a longtime friend, Selma, a concert singer, has died of Lou Gehrig's disease. I last saw her and her husband 6 years ago when I stayed at their house outside Taos, New Mexico. Since then, I've received almost weekly text messages showing sunsets, her gardens, their goats, their grandsons, no mention of illness. On September 23rd, she sent me a photo of her daughter holding a 20-inch zucchini with a much-used wheelchair in the background. When I asked whose it was, she wrote, "It's one I will eventually need because I have a neurodegenerative disease that is affecting my mobility." When I asked for more, she said it was ALS. I replied, "That's not good." "No, it's not, but I'm making the best of it. I've had it for 3 years. Fortunately, I got it late in life and was able to sing for 76 years. Well, she must have started in infancy because she's not that old. 12 days later, she died as they were preparing to load her into an ambulance. She was buried in her own garden, which is allowed in New Mexico if her property meets the required size. Courageous and generous, Selma was an unforgettable friend.
I'm so sorry.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Darren. I'm sharing a couple of joys today, welcoming back some visitors. Tammy and her husband are here today, and Dory Santieri is here again. Nice to see you, Dory. And Eric Garcia, who is all the way in the back near the exit. Eric is a father of 3, family man, and he asked if I would ask the church to keep him in our thoughts and to wish the universe to smile upon his entire family. Thank you.
I lit a candle of gratitude. Our family, my younger son, hopefully doesn't mind me saying this, came home from school a couple weeks ago with COVID, and he's fine. He didn't get very sick at all, but he had to stay in his room, which kind of stunk, and do some virtual learning, which is not the best. But he is all better, and I'm just grateful that none of the rest of us ended up getting sick. We light 3 final candles, one for the concerns that weigh heavy on our hearts and are too hard to share. We light a second one for those of us who aren't with us this Sunday, but are maybe with us on YouTube or in spirit. And the third candle for our country, especially as we come into the midterm elections in November. May our politicians remember who they work for and where they live, and I hope everyone's registered to vote. Our reading is In the Midst of a World by Rebecca Parker. In the midst of a world marked by tragedy and beauty, there must be those who bear witness against unnecessary destruction, and who with faith rise and lead in freedom with grace and power. There must be those who speak honestly, and do not avoid seeing what must be seen of sorrow and outrage, of tenderness and wonder. There must be those whose grief troubles the water while their voices sing and speak refreshed words. There must be those whose exuberance rises with lovely energy that articulates earth's joys. There must be those who are restless for respectful and loving companionship among human beings, whose presence invites people to be themselves without fear. There must be those who gather with the congregation of remembrance and compassion, draw water from old wells, and walk the simple path of love for neighbor. And there must be communities of people who seek to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God, who call on the strength of soul force to heal, transform, and bless life. There must be religious witness.
It is so good to be with you all here again. This is such a lovely space and community. Did you know that just a few days ago, October 11th, was National Coming Out Day? This is according to the Human Rights Campaign on their website, that this was first celebrated on October 11th, 1988. It's hard to imagine it actually existing for that long. It was first celebrated on the anniversary of the National March on Washington for Lesbian and Gay Rights as a reminder that one of our basic tools as GLBT people is the power of coming out. Many years ago, when I first came out as a lesbian, I want to say in the early 90s, I didn't pay very much attention to this day because I was just struggling to be myself, figuring it all out one day at a time. But over the last few years, I've been more conscious of this event, not for me, because, by now everybody in my world knows it's not like it's a big secret anymore, but for all of those who are not in safe situations where they cannot come out. I look at it as an individual responsibility that I have to other people who may not be in a safe situation or safe families. Each of us who comes out, who says something, makes the world just a tiny bit better for people that we don't even know. I look at it as we are planting seeds for the future. Like here it kind of chokes me up, like here in your congregation, I noticed the dedication of the wildlife sanctuary place. Like people many years ago put that work into practice so that you all could experience today. We are setting up seeds for other people, making life better for people we don't yet know. The process of coming out can take many years and many forms, or it can be quick. Everybody has their own way of stating their truth to their own circle of friends, family, colleagues. It can take a long time or a short time, and everybody is on their own path. Every year when National Coming Out Day comes around, I think about the ways that we integrate other identities into our lives, chosen or unchosen. I think of the religion that I grew up in and the religion that I am now. As a child, my family attended an independent Baptist church in northern Indiana. It was very, very strict. It was very clear from the time I was old enough to speak that we were Christians. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Our identity as religious people was that of Christian. It wasn't there's no gray areas, that was it. Our job in the world was to convert others into Christianity. The world was very, very black and white, quite literally. It's taken many years, even though I left Christianity in that form and a long time ago. But still, that kind of black and white thinking can still get me tripped up at times. And I go, wait a minute, I'm still holding on to a way that the world needs to be because of that early doctrination that keeps us so focused. As an adult, when I found Unitarian Universalism, I was thrilled to find people who believed like me, or rather, didn't believe like me. For a good portion of the UU history, our faith movement was based on what we didn't believe, rather than what we do believe. It was all about being able to find people that you could also say, I also don't believe in God. I also don't believe in God who does this specific thing in the world. I also don't believe in a faith community who makes life harder for other people. And so we have bonded around the things that we don't believe in. Well, it's hard to actually make a positive, faith-forward world out of a negative. And so it creates a safe place at the beginning, but for a while, that doesn't begin something that can actually keep you in it. Because many UUs are what we call like spiritual refugees from other faith communities, we tend to be people who, because of everything that's happened to us before, we tend to not take on an identity, and we certainly aren't public about it. We are grateful for finding a safe place to be ourselves, but we forget that others might want to hear about this wonderful place we have found. Sometimes we keep this little secret to ourselves. We have found some place, but because we're so ashamed, we're so afraid that people are going to say, are you proselytizing like those other people? So then we just don't tell them. It would be like if we found a fantastic movie that really spoke to us, that we thought, oh, this movie has, I'm sure that some of you, like right now, you can think of a movie that has some way, has even, maybe even changed your life. Like there were some kind of words in it or some image, some story in it that made you rethink everything. But it's like finding out about this movie and you don't tell anybody. We would watch it over and over, but tell no one else about it. Maybe we've even learned all the words, but no, we don't tell. We know that it would bring joy to other people. We know that it would actually maybe change their life too, but we don't tell them, do we? Why do we not do that? Why do we have such a hard time telling others about the faith that we have found that truly does make our lives better in some way that maybe we can't quite articulate, but we know deep in our soul that it does change something. Something has been relieved about finding these people. Something has changed for us, and yet we have a hard time coming out to others about it. And thinking about Coming Out Day, I think of a song by the songwriter that she's not like a hugely popular. I learned of her a few years ago, and I follow her a lot. But her name is Jamie Anderson, and she wrote this song called "When They Know Who We Are." And it's such an amazing song. And some of the lyrics are, she writes, "The world will change when they know who we are." She says, "Things are changing. See it all unfurl, gay and straight together, in love in this world." I first heard this song many years ago at a women's festival that was actually in Indiana. It really struck me when I heard the song. And in fact, I love this song so much that at my home congregation, I was able to get the rights from Jamie Anderson for our choir to sing it, because I like bringing the word wherever I can. But this song just struck me as so important, that the overall message of Coming Out Day would come out for ourselves, yes, but in order to make the world a better place for everyone. As we come out, that we tell others, and we are able to affect laws, we are able to affect organizations, we make the world better for others. And thinking about UUism and this concept of Coming Out Day, I couldn't help but think about how we UUs tend not to come out. We've been trained for so long that religion itself is bad because of our own past experiences or what we see happening in other religions. So we decide to just not tell our friends and family what we are doing. Maybe, I don't know, most of you tell some people, but maybe just don't say like what exactly it is. Maybe you have a hard time articulating, why do you go to this place on Sunday morning? It seems kind of weird. And I know that sometimes people might even think that it's a cult. People think of you as some kind of strange cult, but you are still here. We have found this thing that makes a difference in our lives, but we don't tell others about it. It makes me wonder, this not telling others about it, do we actually know who we are? Can we actually talk about it? I know many years ago, a former UUA president, Bill Sinkford, that he was on a campaign of having people learn the ability to tell others. Here I see Susan nodding, probably recognizing this. The campaign was about being able to do an elevator speech of UUism. Like, can you, within, let's say the building is 10 stories. In 10 stories, can you break it down? And it was challenging, and it's still challenging. Can we be able to say it, but also can we put ourselves in the emotional space of being able to say, this is who I am, this is what I do. Do you know how amazing it is to be part of a community that believes in the 7 principles and actively works to bring them to fruition in our larger world? I'm just going to guess out in the world that there are many, many people who recycle, who do things, but they're not a part of a community, that is part of their faith statement, is we care for the world. Do you know how amazing that is, to be a part of a faith community that actually says that and puts it into practice? Have you committed to being part of a social justice activities here? I see you're part of, I saw your flyer for UUANI. There are ways that I'm seeing of people being organized in that for possibly maybe you're involved with the prison ministry here in Illinois. There's the Church of the Larger Fellowship that also coordinates people being pen pals with people in prison. There are ways to live our lives outside. I was wondering, like, also in a recent minister's Facebook group, this topic of UU identity came up, and one minister said that when UU identity comes up in their congregation, they ask what it would mean if we believed our faith matters at least as much as we believe NPR or Planned Parenthood matters. I thought that was a really good question. The question is, what is the collective impact that we could have if we, as a faith community, understood how much of a difference that we could make in the world if we actually believed in the power of Unitarian Universalism? If we actually believed that it matters as much as the other organizations that we support? What would it look like if we knew who we are and we were willing to be out loud about it? We are always more likely to be public about something if we can articulate it to ourselves and to others. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I'm just going to say it a little bit slowly for you to think about it. And so just think on these in your head. Do you know who we are? Do you know what is Unitarian Universalism? Could you possibly explain it to someone else? This is also, again, just for you. This is a little bit deeper. What keeps you, this is assuming that these are questions to people who have been here for a while. If you're new here, you might think on it just slightly different. So for what keeps you in Unitarian Universalism, even when there have been struggles, what keeps you in this congregation? If you're new here now or recently, thinking about what draws me here, what is it about these people this time that has made a difference in my life already? Let's just think about that. And now I'm going to ask you to do just one step that requires a little bit of courage, of talking to someone else and asking or talking with each other what, in response to one of these questions or one of these statements. So the first statement is, I am Unitarian Universalist because, or because I am Unitarian Universalist, I do this. Let me say that again. You can say to someone else, or if this is your first time here or a couple of times here, I came here because of, or I have, maybe I'm a repeat visitor, I came back because, and so I am Unitarian Universalist because, or because I am Unitarian Universalist. Notice the words are I am, not I'm thinking about, or I'm kind of wishy-washy about it. It's I am Unitarian Universalist. So let's just take a couple minutes, talk to somebody you didn't come with. let them go till 11:17.
Always hard to get them to be quiet. We used to have like a something wrong or something. Remember Pam used to ring it to start service and give people's attention. I'm not sure what happened to it though. Maybe it was hers and she left with it. I'm not sure. It seemed to be helpful though to kind of bring everybody back. I am Unitarian Universalist because I cannot suffer being a hypocrite. And that was it. Like I.
Chin? Yes, the microphone is coming back on. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. So that means there is a lot of fertile ground, and that this will take for further conversation for your congregation. And so with thinking on that, then the now of changing the focus from an I to a we. This could be an exercise that the congregation takes on, particularly as you move through this year and into the next. Thinking about the statement, because we are Unitarian Universalist, and this could be everything from because we are Unitarian Universalist, we stay in covenant with each other. Because we are Unitarian Universalist, we build strong and healthy relationships. We handle dialogue, and we handle discussions, we handle discourse well. We nurture a spiritual home that welcomes diverse religious views. All of that, too, because we are Unitarian Universalists, we support local immigrants. We volunteer in our community. We vote. We serve as judges on election day. We use our pronouns when we introduce ourselves. We make sure all voices are heard. There are so many ways to live our values. What are yours as an individual or family or a congregation? Think on these questions. So finally, I would like to close with thinking back to Amira and the story of the porpoise and the purpose. The more clear you are on what you are, the more clear you are on your purpose. When you know your purpose, you will open doors for others. New possibilities will become apparent. Things you had not thought of will become clear. I encourage you, especially now, to continue, stand in who you are. Know your purpose. Live it out in the world. Come out. May it be so. Amen.
So I just have a funny little story to share about knowing who we are. So you guys know my niece, Taylor. She's an adult now, but she was about 11 or 12, and she was at dinner with her father's side of the family, and they go, Taylor, you go to church on Sunday. What religion are you? And Taylor goes, she's telling us the story. She goes, I panicked. She said, I said we were Lutheran. So from that on, we're always made fun of her and called her Lutheran. I don't even think she knows what Lutheran is. We will now take the offering for the financial support of our congregation as we say the offering words together. This church is made up of all of us. It is what we learn together, the work we do together, the fun we have together. It is what we share with one another, with the people around us, and with all the world. Our offering will now be gratefully received. Please rise in body or in spirit for our hymn in the teal hymnal, number 1028, The Fire of Commitment. We will now extinguish the chalice as we say our chalice extinguishing words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world.
Our final benediction words are from the Reverend Cynthia Landrum. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, or our care for each other. Our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues until we are together again. Be strong, be well, be true, be loving.